Having issues with navien hot water heater.
How long has this been going on? And how severe is the problem?
Keep getting E110 code.
Do you plan on doing the work yourself?
Maybe.
Anything else we should know to help you best?
I think there's condensate stuck within the exhaust pipe. Hear gurgling noise during initial startup and unit shuts down with E110 code.
Hi, I'm Mike and I have 20 plus years of experience in the home improvement field. I'll be glad to assist you today. Is this a new installation? What is the condensation drain connected to?
Hello.
Hello to you.
The unit came with house that I bought a couple years ago.
There is a condensate drain out of the bottom. Is it piped outside or connected to anything?
There's a drain from the bottom of the unit which goes into a filter and then into a condensate pump.
Does the filter look like it is full of water?
The problem I suspect is that the original installer didn't pitch exhaust line correctly to the outside and there's a buildup of condensate in the line.
The exhaust should pitch back toward the unit, not to the outside, so if it is grating back toward the unit, that is correct.
I am planning on removing the filter to see if it drains better.
So far I would say that it is a drainage issue and not related to the vent unless there is a blockage on the air intake. I think that is less likely since there is a gurgling sound.
During initial startup, when the fans speed up, there's a loud gurgling noise like water and the unit eventually shuts down with E110.
Is the condensate pump full of water? Is the filter full of water? If there is a flexible hose from the filter to the condensate pump. If you pull that hose out of the pump, does the water drain out?
I have to remove the cap from the bottom of the navien bypassing the condensate line and drain into a bucket to get it to run. Even then there's a gurgling noise during startup. The pump isn't full of water. I cut back the PVC line so the condensate line just rests on the lip of the pump so it's not sitting in water.
Which way is the exhaust pitching? Is the filter full of water?
Not sure of pitch as pipes are enclosed in sheetrock. Is there a way to get excess condensate out without tearing out my walls? Also notice that when condensate lines are all connected, water starts to drip out of the bottom of the navien during initial startup, which leads to believe there's a blockage somewhere. I guess the bigger issue is the gurgling noise and how to address it.
Yes, there is a blockage. Once the issue is addressed, the gurgling will stop. Will you please look at the filter and tell me if it is full of water?
Gurgles during startup even when just emptying straight out of bottom of unit into bucket. I'll need some time to disconnect filter.
Isn't it clear?
No, it has a white plastic casing.
I see. Do you see a model number on the filter? It should be a neutralizer and not a filter.
York source neutralizer #1NK0301.
Does it have unions on it? Do you see flow indicator arrows on the side, and are they pointing in the right direction? Is the filter horizontal or vertical?
No flow indicators. Filter is horizontal and pitched towards pump. See attached photo.
If you disconnect the inlet tubing from the filter, does the water drain out of the water heater? I would suggest having a bucket ready. I suspect the issue is that the neutralizer needs the rock inside replaced.
This how is set right now just to get it to run.
Now that it is disconnected, did the water drain out of the unit? Do you still get the error code with the neutralizer disconnected?
Haven't seen any condensate yet.
Did any come out when you disconnected it?
No.
But running it with it disconnected from the neutralizer, there is no error code and no gurgling?
Like I said, it was draining out the bottom of the unit. Just recently put plug back in and waiting to see if it drains out the line. That's correct. At first there was during initial startup when the error code appeared, but now there's no noise. Still no visible condensate unless it's still within the unit.
There is very little when there is, and it happens when the fan stops.
When I had the bucket set underneath the unit with plug removed, I had consistent condensate dripping. Should I run hot water to see if I get condensate?
Yes. The plug is for a control wire to go through. The water dripping out of the plug was water built up in the unit and not coming from the condensate.
This is the plug I removed with a metal bar. Hot water running but no condensate yet.
Pretty sure that plug is a control wire port.
I thought it was the internal condensate filter.
The black cap on the cold water inlet is the sediment filter. There is not a condensate filter.
Getting condensate now. Just so I have another neutralizer, same brand and model for a luxury heating unit with no issue. Is it something about the navien that would cause the neutralizer to crap out already?
The neutralizer cartridge does get clogged with time and it should be replaced yearly. It will be fine to leave disconnected like that until you get the rock replaced inside the neutralizer. It should be replaced yearly. Part number S10263022800.
Put it in a few months ago. I'm going to unplug unit and see if it makes noise during startup.
Very good.
Tripped off again. Was making noise.
But condensate was coming out?
A lot actually during startup.
Is the pipe grating away from the unit? Is there a union on the connection to disconnect the PVC from the unit?
If there's condensate in the exhaust line, how do we get it out without ripping everything apart? Don't know about pitch since it's encased in walls. That's the only visible PVC.
I think the issue is still the same thing. The condensate drain is blocked somehow. I am not familiar with that neutralizer, but maybe the rock in it is a little tighter and causing it to back up. Might need to change that to a neutralizer for tankless water heaters. Now that the water has backed up, it has likely gotten the air intake filter wet, and that is now causing the issue.
Should I take out the air intake filter to see? The neutralizer has been disconnected.
Yes.
Took out filter. It's clean. Unplugged unit, plugged back and still makes noise. I thinks it's coming from the exhaust side.
Was it wet? You were checking the air filter at the top right?
This is the I checked. Upper left.
The one screw at the top and the disc thing? That is it. Was the filter wet? I would next disconnect the PVC from the bottom of the machine. There is a blockage somewhere if there is still gurgling.
Disconnected the PVC drain line and still makes noise during startup. If the exhaust isn't pitched correctly and that's where the noise is coming from, is there a way to get the condensate out without ripping apart the house?
Even if that were the issue, it would work fine now, so I doubt that is the problem. Do you have the manual? Will you check the dip switch settings?
The switches are correct. I had a Navien guy out here once to check on the same problem. The E110 error means there's either an intake or exhaust issue. The gurgling would indicate built-up condensate, so I think it would be an exhaust issue.
Do you know if the service person checked the venturi hole for blockage? Surely they would have checked the pitch on the exhaust.
Again, the pipes are encased so you can't see the pitch. He heard the noise too and believes it's a buildup of condensate, and he assumes the pipe isn't pitched right.
Was the filter wet?
No, it wasn't.
Are you able to see inside the exhaust when the filter is out? Do you see any water in there? What about on the outside of the exhaust?
The filter I know is on the intake. I don't know any exhaust filter.
Sorry, inside the intake. You should also be able to tell if there is water in the exhaust from the outside. Is there?
No water on the intake filter. I can feel some condensation on the outside vent face.
Are you able to remove the grate on the exhaust? Will you post a picture of it?
Can't get it off. See attached.
What is next to it? You can check the grade with a level by putting the level on the face of the exhaust. There is a vertical and horizontal bubble on a level. The only other issues it could be are the venturi hole is blocked, the air pressure sensor needs replacing, or the PCB will need replacing. I am pretty sure that if you contact Navien, they will send a replacement air pressure sensor for free. If the grade is wrong on the vent, that can be fixed without too much surgery. You would just remove the grate and break out the hole a bit above the pipe, then wedge it under it. I have to go take the boy to his grandparents for a visit. I will be offline for a few hours.
My pipe run from the unit to outside is about 20. Not sure what you suggested would work. What could be making the noise though? If I have condensate dripping out back of house, that means pitch is right, correct?
20 feet? Yes, if it is pitching back, that is correct. I'm thinking the most likely is that the venturi hole is blocked considering the noise.
Where is the venturi hole on the unit?
Number 3 on this diagram. Click here. I am sorry, but I am headed out now. I will be back later. I will opt out just in case another expert wants to chime in. I will opt back in when I am back. I am back. Were you able to check out the venturi hole?
I wouldn't even know where to start with that.
You would have to remove the cover. All of the screws around the outside of the cover is what holds it on. It is very near where the intake filter was.
I see it's directly tied into the gas line. You think it's a gas pressure issue?
After checking that, there is not much more you can do as a do-it-yourselfer. Next would be checking voltages on the PCB, air pressure switch and dual venturi. It is unfortunate that the tech you had out did not check these things. Maybe Navien could recommend a qualified tech. It should be covered under the warranty. The venturi hole is an air intake. Could be some debris in it.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert, now visit justanswer.com/ythi.